Kia ora, Friday afternoon, 12:30. That means we're live here, Frogs on Friday, on YouTube, LinkedIn and Facebook with New Zealand's employment market update. Hi there, my name's Mark Smith. I am Group Managing Director of Frog Recruitment in New Zealand and People to People in Australia. We've got a jam-packed agenda for you today, but before we jump into that, there was an earthquake this morning. I know I was on a call to Peter in our Wellington office, who we'll be chatting to later. That's where the epicenter was, just there. I think it was about 230 kilometres under the ground. But there was also a press conference, I think, that talking about the pathway out of the pandemic, and the Prime Minister was interrupted. I'm not sure. Jacob is our man behind the scenes. I've mentioned that before. Do you have that video, Jacob? Let's see if we can have a quick look at that.
Exactly, Aucklanders will be able to leave Auckland for domestic travel.
Sorry, a slight distraction. Would you mind repeating that question?
Can you clarify when exactly?
There you go. So yeah, right in the middle of the press conference, she felt the earthquake, and I had the same experience when I was chatting to Peter. But we'll catch up with him later. But we're here really to talk about jobs and employment in New Zealand. So what we'll do today is we'll go through our regular numbers section, where I've got some interesting data from Seek this week on their number of job ads in all the different regions throughout New Zealand. So we'll cover that off. Then we'll go to Wellington for our Wellington update with Preeta Cristani from Capital Recruitment. And then we've got an opportunity actually to speak about also in Wellington with Elzari, where we'll explore that one as well. And finally, we'll cover off our Twitter poll results from last week, which was, should you go back to a former employer? What do Kiwis think about going back and working with one of their, well, going back to their ex, I suppose is the way we do it. We'll find out that later in the broadcast as well. But let's get started with our regular numbers section. So the numbers this week, well, we've got a couple here. Now this is, and thanks to Seek, who produce this each month. They have a report that comes out to particular entities in New Zealand. And I thought I'd show you this one. This is the job ad growth or decline comparing September 21 to August 21. So, I mean, it's very fresh data. And also comparing 2020 to 2019 as well. So in the first column, that's the most recent movement from August to September. So nationally, not a lot of movement, just up 0.3%. But look at the decline in Auckland, down 8% on August to September. No surprises there, really. Wellington up slightly, 4%, and Canterbury region up 9%. That's had a significant, and when I show you that graphically in a minute, you'll see that the big difference in Canterbury. When you compare this year versus last year, no surprises. Nationally, we're up 44% in New Zealand, and the best performing region is Canterbury. They must have, in terms of a recovery, so 61% better than this time last year. Auckland 38, Wellington 49, and when you compare to the pre-COVID period, so September 2019, you can still see that Canterbury and Wellington are performing better in terms of the number of job ads than pre-COVID. So Canterbury up 17%, Wellington up 22%, and nationally up 12%, but Auckland down on pre-COVID levels there. So that's if you didn't, the movement in the last month, we'd be up in Auckland by 3%. So yeah, it's interesting. Let's have a look at that graphically. So if you could move to the next one. So this is the time period we're looking at here is from September 19 through to September 21, and you can see the impact of the pandemic there. The line in the middle, the 100 line, is actually 2013. Yeah, so 100 equals the 2013 average. So give you an idea. So you can see that pre-COVID, that the Canterbury was below average from 2013, well, below 2013, but all of the other regions, Auckland and New Zealand as a whole, was above, substantially above 2013. The huge decline for the in April with the pandemic. And now look at more recently, so in 2021, and you can see that even now with the lockdowns, New Zealand as a whole is higher than the pre-pandemic levels. The only exception to that would be Auckland. And if you use that the 100 line, you can see that Canterbury is ahead of pre-pandemic levels and has been since March of 21. So yeah, it's a very competitive marketplace. And look, the market is not just job ads, and that's what we're looking at here. So it's not people employed, it's not how many hours you've got, it's the number of ads that are being run on one single platform, and that's Seek. So we've got to keep that in context. Let's have a look at the map for around the country from the Seek report, which will give you a bit of an idea of how different regions are performing. And this is literally August to September. Yep, so August to September. We've already talked about Auckland at the top there, down 8%. The best performing region from August to September is, and I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly, but Manawatu, but hopefully Peter will be able to correct me on the pronunciation there. And Tasman, 10%. In Wellington, up 4%, you can see there. Other areas of interest also, so if you look at the South Island as a whole, the only part that there's not an increase on August to September is the West Coast. So yeah, good times. The market is even better. So let's move on then. So what we'll do now is we'll cross down for a Wellington market update with Peter Crestani, the Managing Director of Capital Recruitment there. To get us there, though, we've got an opportunity that Dean from our Auckland office would like to share with everybody. So if you want to roll that video, and then we'll cross down to Peter.
Hi there guys, this is Dean from Frog Recruitment. I'm the Senior Sourcing Specialist. I wanted to take the opportunity today to share with you an exciting opportunity that I'm currently working on. I'm looking to recruit a senior business partner in the OD and culture space. This is a new role within the organisation, which is within the mining industry. It offers a great opportunity for a HR generalist or OD specialist. The role itself will focus on equipping the organisation with the right skills and culture to grow the individuals to be their best and to achieve the organisational goals. You'll work on developing frameworks, programs and L&D interventions, as well as delivering these programs to the people on the ground. The role will operate across 3 sites in New Zealand, so offers great flexibility for the right candidate. You can be based at Waihi, Macrae or even Dunedin. Ideally, you'll have around 8 years relevant experience, either in an OD capacity or a generalist HR role with a component of OD and learning and development. You don't need to come from the mining industry and your background can be varied. So if this role sounds like it's your next step, you can contact me on deanh@frogrecruitment.co.nz or you can contact me on the contact number below. Thanks for listening, stay safe and take care.
All right, that sounded like a good opportunity. G'day, Peter. How are you? Showing my Australian roots there again. Every time I do that, and it's normally when I'm speaking to you, Peter, that I ended up going completely Australian. So before we jump into the market report. So before we jump into the market report, I should say to everybody, the link to that job that Dean was talking about is in the comments, and we can see all of your comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at any time. So if you've got any questions for us, just let us know. So Peter, how is the market in Wellington at the moment?
Well, the job market's really busy. It's a very candidate short market though, so there's a lot of roles. You've seen from those Seek numbers, there's more ads, a lot more ads out there, but underlying that is still an even greater number of roles that aren't filled, that haven't been advertised. So the numbers are probably quite conservative really, but it's an indication. So for us, it's very tight to find really good candidates. clients are advertising, and I was talking to one the other day, and they'd advertised a role and got 4 people responded to it, and that none of those were suitable for the role. So it's a candidate-driven market. Some of the challenges in recruiting for hiring managers are things like you've got to be able to tell the story about why someone would want to come and work with you, why it's a good opportunity. Things you need to build that fabric of the story. And candidates want to know who they're going to work for, what are they going to be doing, and sort of what's in it for them. With the COVID response, there's a lot more flexibility around working from home, for instance, and those parameters we try and set out at the beginning of the recruitment process with the candidates, so there's no surprises later on. So the other thing I'm sort of advocating
Sorry, Peter. That's a very interesting point there about remote work. Are you getting many opportunities where it's 100% remote, or is it some sort of hybrid model?
Often a hybrid model. It's most often hybrid. Like often they'll have a one day, an anchor day a week where the whole team is in the office. Sometimes you can work 2 or 3 days a week from home. Sometimes it's even more than that. It really depends on the organisation and the nature of the work. If it's a more strategic type of role, then there's often more opportunity for the candidates to work from home.
Okay.
So some of the other challenges.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say that Manda, who's one of our colleagues and from Australia, looks like hasn't actually appreciated your Australian accent, and she's popped on Facebook. Hold on, Peter. So, I don't know if you
steady, son, steady.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Don't get me started, Mark. I won't. I'll be nice to you.
Yeah, there she is. There it is on screen. Classic.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted. Amanda's now asking what type of extra benefits people are looking for, by the way.
Well, in government sector, there isn't a lot of opportunity. The packages are pretty well discrete and around salary, standard leave. So there's not in the government sector a lot of other opportunities to have other things. But some organisations, I was talking to one, they have $1,000 a year for wellness. And I was talking with this hiring manager, and I said, what do you spend yours on? And he said, well, you can do things like home office. So I bought a big screen, and it turns out it's a gaming station screen that he's got at home, and his boss went, oh, that's interesting. The other thing is, I think there's a couple of other things. One is counter offers are really prevalent at the moment. So you can get through a process with a candidate, and they have their current employer offers them either a different opportunity or more money. So we've got that. I think the challenges as a hiring manager around recruitment processes, you need to have them fast. I describe it as slow fast. So you want to be careful about getting the right person, but when you do, you've got to really be able to ramp up your process really quickly and accelerate getting that person through a reference check and any validation that you need to do as well.
Yeah, they definitely need to seize the day. If they've got a good candidate, they need to jump on it straight away. I think there was a blog post actually, if Jacob could find that one and pop that into the comments around that challenges for hiring managers and those speed issues as well. So yeah, great. Yeah. All right. Well, now did you feel the earthquake this morning before we let you go?
Yeah. It was 2 minutes before our meeting, and I was there. I was on the phone to my daughter in Auckland, and I said, I've got to go. There's an earthquake, and it just went on for quite a while. It was a bit of a quick shake, and then it was a rolling shake, and then I was talking to you, and then I had to get out of that meeting to make sure that the team were all okay. But it was a nice wee roll.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I know we won't share it today, but I know you've got some fantastic stories about being elevators and earthquakes as well. But we won't go there. We're not going to do that today. But all right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks with another Wellington update. What we'll do now, though, is we've got a specific vacancy we want to talk about in Wellington, and that's with Elzari. So she's also in Wellington. So hi there. Hi, Elzari. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you. Yeah, we had a bit of a decent jolt in Wellington, so everyone's awake.
Right. Where were you? What happened when it hit?
Yeah, I actually got my phone alerted me before I felt it. So we've got this Android alerts on our phones, and it
Right.
said, "Oh, you're about to feel a shake," and the next minute everything just started shaking for a bit, and yeah, kept on rolling for a while. So yeah, it was a bit scary.
Yeah. Everyone's safe though. Everyone's good.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, great. All right. Okay. Well, now we've got this specific vacancy that we want to talk about. Tell us more about it.
Yeah. So I would love to talk to you about this opportunity. It's with one of our public sector clients in Wellington. It's a permanent position, and they are after a senior engineer, land development and consenting. Now, looking at paying market rates depending on individual skills and experience. And right now in New Zealand, water and water reform is quite a hot topic. So everyone's very aware of it. And due to this, our client is growing their engineering team, and that's why this opportunity is available. Now, they're really looking for someone to come in and provide advice on consenting in the land development space for free waters, and then to assess the free water components of land development for them to ensure that it meets the policy, the legislation, and the engineering standards that needed. And as a senior engineer, they will be providing technical leadership and guidance to an engineering team. With regards to qualifications and experience, we are looking for an engineering degree. Now, this could either be in civil engineering or land development or environmental engineering. And then we are after that 5 years experience within the free waters space. So this could be stormwater, wastewater or freshwater. So if someone's worked in any of those areas, that will be really great for us. And then this person will need strong knowledge of local government acts as well as the Civil Engineering Act. We're after someone that's really analytical, with good, strong communication skills, and good stakeholder relationship skills, because they will be engaging with engineering suppliers in the area as well as with the community.
Okay, great. And so this is, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be, but there is no, I mean, being a land engineer, you're not really going to have a remote working opportunity, or is that, am I being a little bit naive there?
No, you are right. There is a bit of flexibility around work, because when they're in the office and they're looking at proposals and things like that, they could probably be a bit more flexible. But they will be expected to go out to sites, land development sites, and so most of the time they'll be out in the field or looking after things like that.
And what do you think is the thing that would make somebody really stand out? The thing that is there experience or something that people are just that the company will jump on really quickly?
Well, that's any experience in that free water space. So if you've been an engineer and you've worked in wastewater or stormwater or freshwater, they would really be interested to meet with you and have a chat.
Great. All right. And if somebody did want to have a bit of a chat to you about the role, how would they get in touch?
Yeah, they can email me on alsri@frogrecruitment.co.nz, and I'll be happy to set up a time to have a chat to them and share more information.
Great. I can see the Jacob, he's on it. He's popped their contact details onto the screen there, which is great. And and he's also popped them in the comments there as well. So if you do want to have a chat to Azari about this role, then do that. Well, fantastic to have you on the broadcast today. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. And fingers crossed there's no more aftershocks, hey, after that one.
Hopefully, yes. Thanks for the time.
Rightio. Thanks, Elzari. Okay, let's. We're conscious of time. We've just got a minute or so. And the last thing we'd like to cover off is the Twitter poll from last week. And this one we asked, should you go back to a former employer? So is returning to an ex-employer a good career move? Not really a surprise on this one, I don't think. So it really, 2/3 basically said, it depends on the circumstances. But a full 23% said no, move on. I'm over you. I'm out. But 14% said yeah, that can definitely work. So yeah, I think that's no surprise in the results there. So let's have a look at this week's poll. So this week we're going to ask you, what is most enticing to you when it comes to returning to a physical workplace? I suppose so. If you're in Auckland and you're really keen to get back into the office, then what's most important to you then? Is it in-person collaboration? Is it socialization, workplace perks, or return to routine? Tell us what you think. You can vote. The comments are in the link to vote is in the comments there. So jump on to any of our Frog Recruitment socials and let us know what you think. Thanks again for joining us for Frogs on Friday. We'll do it all again next week at 12:30. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you next week.